diving headfirst into Lubbock Cooper athletics. You're listening to the Pirate Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score and the 100.7 The Score mobile app.
It is the top of the hour now here on the High School Fan Zone, a Wednesday edition. I'm Clint Scott. In for Randy Rosetta tonight, we will turn the page to the Pirate Fan Zone, shining a light on Lubbock Cooper athletics. And it is a busy time of season for baseball, but it is a busy time for track and field as well. We're going to talk some Pirate track and field with head coach Devin Ramby. Coach Ramby, thank you for joining us. How's everything going?
It's good. Kind of like you said, we are up to our ears right now in track. I just got done helping with the middle school zone championships, and we got our regionals tomorrow, so you better hope you love it.
How are the future Pirates doing out there?
Oh, they're doing fantastic. Got some great coaches at Laura Bush and middle school, and so they're always taken care of, so we're always excited about the future.
Friday and Saturday out at Lowry, it is the Region 1 5A meet, and it's scheduled for this weekend. Obviously, baseball, as we just talked about, Coach Reynolds and Coach Bibb have had plenty of movement looking at weather. That has got to be quite literally on your radar as well. How much have you guys as a staff talked about that and just looked at the upcoming possible bad weather?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm kind of a weather nerd, so I've been all over it for the past couple days. But they just announced a few hours ago that they're going to go ahead and make a move. And so to kind of prepare for that, they're going to take all field events and move it to Saturday just because Friday morning looks so bad. So it's going to be an adjustment, and it's something we got to look out for. But we already got a plan in place and to make sure our kids are in the best spot to have success.
Yeah, there you go. But we have can we call it breaking news then here on the High School Fan Zone? It sounds
I think
sounds
you
cool.
should.
Okay, breaking news there. Let's take a look back at the area meet. I'm not sure if Randy had you on since then from a couple weekends ago, but I wanted to go back over that. And let's start on the boys' side. 8 events is what you qualified for in the regionals. On the girls' side, 4 events, and then a relay as well. Let's start with the boys looking back at the area meet. What stood out and what did you like from your guys' performances?
The area meet's always tough. You kind of get real juiced up and jacked up for district, and, district titles are a big deal, and you got to turn around, and, oftentimes you kind of see a little bit of a lull at the area meet, just kind of being in between the 2 big meets of the year. And so I thought our kids handled it real well. The goal we always said is just get to next week. It's that survive and advance mentality. And I thought everybody that went to that area meet did a really good job keeping that mentality. It doesn't have to be your best. It just has to be in those top 4 spots to advance. And guys like Josiah, Carter Harris, Blake Moore, Will and Shane, they did exactly what they needed to do.
Let's go to the girls' side of things. You had 4 individuals and, again, 1 relay. Let's talk about their area meet.
Same. I thought they handled it really well. Our district is an absolute gauntlet, and it's only going to get worse next year when you introduce the friendships to it. And so we tell them all the time, if you can get through district, you can go quite a ways in the track playoffs. And so I thought that's how the girls handle it. And the thing about the girls is my girls' side is very young. In the regional meet, we've got one senior, 1 junior, and then the rest are sophomores and freshmen. So, they're kind of in that young and dumb age where, they're just kind of going along, and sometimes you don't really understand the gravity of it, but that also leads to being a little bit more relaxed and being able to handle those big moments because you don't really know how big it is yet.
I always thought I would grow out of my young and dumb age, and I'm just old and dumb, so age is the only thing that's changed there. But you look at those youngsters that you have like that where you can see already competitive nature and good results, but also see a really bright future for them. How much do you tell them, like, hey, this is what you could be if you keep working? Or do you have conversations like that with freshmen and sophomores who are already standing out for your team right now?
Oh, absolutely. Kids like Jordan Bush and Kaylee Smosna, and they're studs for being so young. And so for us, the big part of it is kind of like you said, telling them, hey, look, I know you're already kind of ahead of the game, but we got to make sure we keep moving forward, because every stage you get further, it gets tougher, from area to regionals, regional prelims, regional finals, and Region 1 is no cakewalk. So I think once they get a taste of it, you can kind of always lean back to it and say, hey, remember how awesome it was to go to regionals and how awesome it is to try to advance to regional finals. And so I think that's a great little carrot to keep out in front of them, the ability to stay consistent in your success.
Obviously, this is out at Lowry. There's a lot of great venues out here in West Texas, and I have a West Texas question a little bit later on in the show for you for track and field. But obviously, Lowry is top notch. But as a coach, from the track and field perspective, what do you like at the venue out at Lowry?
I think it's Mike Meeks and LISD does a fantastic job running that sucker off, because it's a big meet, and like you said, you got people all the way from Fort Worth to El Paso and everything in between, and they do a great job. And it's fun because with the bigger stands and you're kind of in a bowl, I think you kind of get the grandiosity of it. And so that's been a lot of fun, and these kids are going to enjoy going to run there. And we had an area there, so they've been introduced to it. But it's one of the best running venues, I think, around here for sure.
And there's got to be a plus to have some familiarity with it being just right here in Lubbock city limits.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You're not staying in a hotel, and you're not running on a brand new track. You get to run on the track you've ran on a lot before, and you get to sleep in your own bed, and I think that's huge. I always tell our kids it's a massive advantage to be able to sleep in your own bed at night and go from there. So that's definitely something that we preach about.
Well, we're going to hit our first break here. We'll go all the way to 7:30 here in the Pirate Fan Zone, talking track and field. The Region 1 5A meet this weekend, Friday and Saturday. We do have head coach Devin Ramby on. And when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about West Texas track and field as a whole, and then start breaking down the competitors there for the Pirates. A lot of exciting stuff happening this weekend that we will get into. It is the Pirate Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score. Back with more next.
Your inside look into Lubbock Cooper sports. This is the Pirate Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score and the 100.7 The Score mobile app.
Thank you for joining us and making us a part of your Wednesday night. It is the High School Fan Zone. I'm Clint Scott. In for Randy Rosetta tonight, we have Coach Ramby on the Visual Edge IT hotline. I'm live here from the First United Bank studio. We will go till 7:30. As always, you can watch us on Fox 34 News Now. And if you've never been over to our YouTube page, youtube.com/Double T Sports Network, we live stream over there as well. We'd love it if you subscribed, if you do visit us over there. The Region 1 5A meet for the Pirates this weekend, scheduled for Friday and Saturday out at Lowry. Before we break that down a little bit further, Coach, I wanted to ask you this, because we had for the Westerners, we had head coach Juan Rodriguez on and talking about the culture of football in West Texas and how great it is. And I've had this conversation with baseball coaches before, but I really think that West Texas track and field, the culture for that is really good as well. And you can start, obviously, with what Wes Kitley has done with Texas Tech, but I think it's got a good following compared to maybe other parts of the state, let alone the country. But from your perspective as a track and field coach, what do you think of West Texas track and field culture?
I think it's fantastic. I think you said it really well. I think when you think track, I think Texas stands out as one of your best states for that sport. In fact, you look at a lot of the top times from the nation in high school, a majority of those times are going to come from Texas. And so I think it's just the idea of it's a real sport. We're going to treat it as such. It's not an off season. It's not anything like that. And I think the kids, they just enjoy. It's a different kind of sport. It definitely has some individual and some team aspects to it. But when you get on that track and you're in that lane, there's nobody playing defense against you. There's nobody stopping you from going out there and accomplishing what you want. And I think that's kind of a freeing feeling for some kids. And I think the other thing that's really important about track is I think it's another avenue for kids to showcase their talents. You may be your third or fourth string football or baseball or basketball player or on volleyball, but you come out to track and you can really showcase your skills, and maybe you're the top out there. And so that culture is a lot of fun. And the other thing I really like about it is I think it's a unique culture from a coaching perspective. I have never been around a sport where coaches are willing to help each other. In football, you're not going to give away your playbook or stuff like that. But in track, you get a call, hey, I'm having trouble with this kid on long jump. What do you think? And, it's just a fun group to be a part of in that respect.
Well, what's your relationship, on that note, like with some of the area coaches, whether just, in town or in your district? What are some of the relationships like that from coach to coach?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, even, talking about weather, just the other day I was texting some of my friends up in Amarillo, that coach up there at Bushland and Amarillo High and Canyon High and West Plains, and then just got done talking to Coach Finelli out at Friendship, who used to be the track coach there. Been texting Coach Shortis, who used to be at Friendship. And so it's something where, like I said, it's easy to kind of feel like you're kind of alone on this island in track. And so it's always nice to be able to phone a friend, text a friend, hey, this is my issue, what would you do? Or, have you encountered this before? And they're always so willing to help, which is really a breath of fresh air, I think, in the modern world. Yeah,
no doubt. And especially just being in a competitive setting in any sort of facet, that is very refreshing to hear. Let's take a look at the boys to start as we look at the regional meet. Now, you had 8 qualified events, and a lot of them is Mr. Josiah Davis, who just is insanely special. But you also have Carter Harris with the high jump, Shane Thompson, pole vault, Blake Moore at the 400, and William Escobar with the 800. Let's start with Josiah and the 4 events that he qualified. What makes him so good as an athlete?
He's a gamer. I think that's the biggest thing for him is he knows when the lights come on and the stage gets big, that's what he thrives in. So anytime those opportunities arise, something like an area meet or an advancement meet or something like regionals, he loves it. And so he has that confidence, and I guess you call it, the young kids call it swagger. He's got a little bit of that too. And so he loves it. He loves to showcase his speed and his jumping ability. And man, I'll tell you, he's one who did not take shortcuts. From he was a sophomore when he started with us, and, didn't get out of district his sophomore year. Last year only had a couple events, and then this year you can see he's kind of blossomed into an absolute track machine. And so he's been a lot of fun. And like I said, he didn't take shortcuts. He's putting the work in, and that's what's special about him. He's not afraid to work.
Man, it's tough to find the special talent with a great work ethic. Well, that was talking about Josiah Davis. We're going to take one more break, and when we come back, we'll dive into the other boys for the Pirates and then turn the page to the girls as well. Region meet this weekend. More Pirate Fan Zone coming up next on 100.7 The Score.
Diving headfirst into Lubbock Cooper athletics. You're listening to the Pirate Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score and the 100.7 The Score mobile app.
One more with us. It is the Pirate Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score. We have head coach Devin Ramby on the Visual Edge IT hotline for the Pirates track and field team, who are headed to the Region 1 5A meet. Well, I say headed like it's going to be far travel. Out at Lowry Friday and Saturday. Let me run through the events here for the Pirates. We'll start on the boys' side with the 100 meters, Josiah Davis, who's also in the 200 meters, the long jump, and the triple jump. You also have Blake Moore with the 400, William Escobar with the 800, Shane Thompson, pole vault, Carter Harris for the high jump. On the girls' side of things, Jordan Bush in the 100 and the 200, Abby Watts also in the 100. At high jump, Kinley Stevens, long jump, Kinley Phillips, and then also the Pirates qualified for the 4x1. Coach, what are you looking for, other than just good performances, but is there anything that Pirate fans should keep their eye on with the Region 1 5A meet?
Yeah, I think that's the fun thing about it is I don't know that any of the events are out of reach. I think everybody coming in for the Pirates has a real chance, and so that's kind of the fun thing. It's kind of a toss-up. You show up on Friday and you show up on Saturday, and it doesn't matter what you did last week or the week before that. It's what you do that day, which is kind of a fun thing about how Texas does their track. And so I'm trying to instill that in our kids, too, is like, man, you got a shot. Everybody's got a shot. Like, go out there and do your absolute best and give good effort and have some confidence in what you do and let the chips kind of fall where they may. I think sometimes, putting a little bit too much expectations on anything or not enough expectation on anything can kind of skew that. So we want them to come out there with confidence and give it their best, and then, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be.
Yeah, is it a fine line from going from, hey, instilling the confidence, but also trying to keep them kind of consistent and even keel? Is that a fine line for you as a coach?
Oh, absolutely. We talk all the time about we don't want to be too high or too low. We want to fly right in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
We're never going to be too down on ourselves, but we're never also going to walk out there and think we got it won without stepping on the track. You got to go out there and you got to do it. And so, trying to instill that confidence in Blake and Will, who have great shots in the quarter and the 8. The girls 4x1, Jordan and Abby in the 100, Kinley in the high jump, Kinley in the long. I mean, they all got chances, and that's really what it's all about. Is I want them to know that and them to believe that too.
Let's talk about Jordan Bush. She's also a multi-event qualifier for you with the 100 and 200. Tell me what you've seen from her this season.
Same as kind of Josiah. She's a gamer. Mm-hmm. She loves the lights come on. She loves to race the fast people. And just like Josiah, she's great about putting the work in. She had a lot of talent in middle school, and I think that kind of gave her the confidence and then kind of the expectation, like, I'm not scared of these high school runners. I want to come run with them. And so we've tried to go to some bigger meets, like heading out to McKinney and stuff like that, and kind of getting her used to running with those faster people in the top of the 5A Texas, and she's done a phenomenal job. And, I think she's barely scratching the surface of what she's capable of. That's the cool thing about sprinting is, like, it compounds. So the more you train the speed, the better it's going to get. And that's what we love about Jordan, is that she wants to be the best. And so we're excited to be part of her journey.
Is anybody that qualified for this level, anybody maybe surprised you or surpassed anything as far as expectations from the start of the season?
Man, I think, Kinley Stevens, I think, didn't have a lot of varsity experience prior to this year. And so I think it's been a lot of fun seeing her kind of blossom. And, she was sitting behind a couple state champs in Naomi and Brentley for a couple of years. So kind of getting out of their shadow and getting out her own. She's been a lot of fun. Abby Wass is another one who, this is only her second time ever making regionals, and she made it in an individual event. And, she's been with me for 6 years from 7th grade on up. And so she's put the work in. It's been a lot of fun to see that pay off. And so, yeah, it's a great group of kids. I love working with these kids.
Coach, it has been awesome to talk with you. Really appreciate your time. This is going to do it for the Pirate Fan Zone. Hey, Region 1 5A meet this weekend. Coach, really enjoyed the conversation. Good luck this weekend.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate your time, and go Pirates.
This has been the Pirate Fan Zone, and that'll do it for the high school Fan Zone. I'm Clint Scott for Randy Rosetta. He will be back in next Monday. Appreciate everybody tuning in, and to all the coaches that we got to talk with here tonight. Thanks to Brennan Riker behind the board for his work as always. The high school Fan Zone will be back next Monday, 6 o'clock here on 100.7 The Score.